Ever feel like the world is a little off course? Like we've all kind of lost our way. Well, today we're going to dive into this really interesting philosophical manifesto called Recalibration. It basically argues that, yeah, humanity has lost its bearings, and we desperately need to find a new direction. So let's get into it and explore its big idea for getting back on track.
Right off the bat, the source material does not pull any punches. It opens with this incredibly powerful statement, just a flat-out declaration that something is fundamentally wrong with where we're all headed. This really sets the stage for a deep dive into not just what's broken, but how we might even begin to fix it.
And this image just illustrates that core feeling perfectly, doesn't it? Just imagine it for a second. A massive, powerful ship full of potential, but it's completely directionless. Totally at the mercy of every single storm. According to this text, that's us. Right now, adrift and maybe heading straight into a hurricane.
So, what's the diagnosis? First up, we're going to explore the source's view of a world that has, well, lost its internal compass. A world where even the things we rely on, like the very idea of truth, have become all blurry and unreliable.
And this is the key symptom of our whole rudderless state. I mean, when a society can spin truth to the point where you can't even recognize it anymore, the source claims we lose our ability to navigate anything. That fundamental confusion, that's the engine driving all the chaos we feel around us.
So, in the middle of all this chaos, the text poses this essential question. See, it's not just complaining about how things are. It's actively searching for a solution. It's a question that really challenges all of us to look past the problems and start seeking a genuine path forward.
All right, so how do we find our way? Well, the source proposes an answer it calls the law of calibration. This is presented as the core principle, the new point of reference we need to start steering that ship again.
So what is recalibration exactly? Well, it's not some quick fix. The source defines it as a conscious process, a choice to shift our awareness, to intentionally aim ourselves as individuals and as a whole toward our highest potential instead of just, drifting along.
And here is the critical part. This is huge. This is not about waiting for governments or big systems to change for us. The text is absolutely adamant that real, lasting change is an inside job. It has to start with each one of us.
This brings us to the practical side of things, the prescription. If change starts from the inside, how do we actually do it? This section is all about the source's guide to the internal work that's needed to recalibrate ourselves. So, to get a handle on just how massive our inner world is, the text cites this mind-blowing estimate. The average person has between 60,000 and 80,000 thoughts a day. Just think about that. That is an unbelievable amount of mental traffic going on up there.
And that, of course, leads to this crucial question. With thousands of thoughts just flying through your mind every single hour, which ones are you actually paying attention to? Which ones are you letting take root and define your reality? The source argues that most of us never even stop to ask.
The analogy used here is so simple but so powerful. I mean, you wouldn't just expect a dog to behave perfectly without any training, right? But yet, we let our own minds run totally wild. The text suggests that mental discipline isn't about suppression. It's about training your mind to be your ally, not your enemy.
And here's why that training is just so vital. The source claims that a staggering 95% of our actions are driven by our subconscious. 95%. That means we are on autopilot almost all of the time. So if we really truly want to change our lives, we have to go deeper and start reprogramming the operating system that's actually in control.
The source then lays out this incredible chain reaction, drawing on some ancient wisdom. It's such a clear, logical progression. It shows how the smallest, most random thoughts, if we let them run untrained, eventually harden into the very destiny of a person. It all starts with that one little thought.
So let's say we do it. We tune our inner world. What happens next? Well, in our final section, we'll see how the source connects all this deep, personal work to the massive societal systems all around us. Everything from the media to politics.
The logic here is pretty direct. If our individual destinies are shaped by our character, then it makes sense that the destiny of our society is shaped by our collective character. The state of our external world, really, is just a big mirror reflecting the sum total of all of our internal habits.
Now, the source points to the media as a prime example of this external reflection. It draws this really stark contrast between a past where it says journalism was about presenting facts and a present that it describes as being dominated by spin doctors who just blur the lines between what's true and what's not. And this breakdown of a shared reality, it doesn't just stop with the media. From the source's perspective, it also infects the political world, creating an environment where the different sides just become enemies, and finding any common ground, well, it becomes nearly impossible.
The author uses this powerful metaphor to really make its point. A nation, just like an eagle, needs both wings to function. When one side is just dedicated to breaking the other, the whole system gets grounded. It can't soar. It's a real call for balance and cooperation. So after diagnosing all the problems in our external world, the source brings it all right back home. The solution isn't out there. The manifesto's ultimate claim is that the only way to heal our society is for each of us to discover those precious jewels of kindness, compassion, and love that lie within.
And as we get close to the end, the source totally reframes this whole struggle. It says, it's not a burden, it's not a chore, it's a game, an incredible epic game with infinite levels to play. And the best part? We're just getting started.
And so we end with this question. If life is the ultimate game, and changing the world really begins with changing yourself, well, the only question left is the one the source leaves us with. Are you ready to pick up the controller and play?